Assalamu alaikum. Today I'm joined on the Muslimah Business Network podcast with Sister Zahra from Practical Muslim. Alhamdulillah. Thank you so much, Zahra, for joining us.
Yes, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Alhamdulillah. So tell us about your business. What do you do and who do you help?
Yeah, so I am a spiritual coach for Muslims. I help them with three main things: with getting secure in their identity, feeling really confident and in themselves, and that they have Allah's support, and being comfortable, being visible, and being seen.
Alhamdulillah. So tell us, how did you get started with this?
It actually came from my own journey. So I'm an attorney by training. I worked as a lawyer for several years, and then I got into entrepreneurship. I started a modest fashion e-commerce, and that starting a business, as you know, is the intense spiritual training ground. So exposed so many things, all of my shadows, all of my insecurities, all of my fears,
Mhm.
all of the places where I had so much doubt, imposter syndrome, everything became exposed. And in the course of growing that business, which mashallah, it did well, it did decently, but it what I was striving to get VC funding. I wanted to be featured in the New York Times. I wanted all of these accolades that I wasn't reaching. And I asked Allah to expose for me, like, where is the barrier for me in reaching these goals. And then I got led on a spiritual journey to show me how I really didn't honor my identity, lacked confidence, and was scared of being visible.
Wow. So I mean, if you don't feel comfortable, it's okay, but would you like to share a highlight of what the spiritual journey was like for you? And I know it's a lot, but because I kind of honestly, I'm gonna be on transparent. I kind of feel like I'm going through that right now.
Yeah, I mean, it is a lot, right? It's a lot because, especially as women, as minority women in the West, as Muslim women, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves. And most of us, I'm sure probably everyone listening to this podcast, is smart, talented, hardworking, has read all the things, right? Whatever it is you're trying to do, you have researched it, you have studied it, you have listened to the gurus, you are making it, you are building it, you're asking, finding the people who could support you, hiring freelancers, all the things. So it is not for a lack of skill, talent, or ability. It is a lack for something else. And that's the place where I got that. I got to that place and I kept telling my husband and I kept telling Allah, like, they are not outworking me. They are not more skilled or more talented than me. Like the people who are succeeding, I know it's not because of that. Please, Allah, expose to me, tell me what is the difference between me and them. And that the exposure came through like media and shows and things initially, and then I got led into actual spiritual teachers. um but it was to reveal to me essentially that I lacked faith. I really lacked belief in myself, belief in Allah's support, like everything. Part of why especially minority Muslim women, or let's say the global South, Muslim women from the global South work so hard is because we believe we have to prove ourselves, and we believe that it won't be given, and we believe that it has to be hard, and we believe that people are against us and people don't value us and people don't show up for. So all of those beliefs, we think like, well, yeah, obviously it's hard for a Black woman, or it's hard as a hijabi, or it's hard, but it doesn't have to be default. Obviously, no. Maybe obviously, like, you are supported, obviously people want to root for you, obviously they can see that this is a good idea. But if your default mindset is that people are going to be against me and this is going to be hard and maybe I'm not supposed to be successful, the really crux belief is, what if Allah doesn't want this for me? What if I'm trying to get this success, but Allah just wanted me to like work a simple 9 to 5 and not make a fuss? And here I am trying to make
I'm
a fuss.
I'm just laughing because those are the thoughts that go through your head. They really do.
Yes, yes.
Oh my gosh.
So now that's what I
Well,
help women through, because what if you believed there was no obstacle, you were supported, it was going to work out? How would you face the challenges of business with that outlook?
Okay, you touched on a lot of things which we need to I would like to dissect with you because,
Mm.
just so everyone knows, I still do. I coach women. I've been coaching women for several years. But through my journey, and I probably need to be in your program, Zahra. I'm just gonna be honest. Like, I probably need to be in that
Welcome.
program. But I will be looking you up after this. Um, yeah, actually, I actually joined your free community, so I'm looking forward to your live streams that you have. Amazing. And we'll plug in your links, after everyone watching, you can connect with Zahra. So I grew my own business to my Instagram. I have another Instagram account with 17K followers.
Mhm.
But and I grew on paper a successful multi six figure business. I experienced burnout, but I experienced a lot of mindset challenges. And this is something that I can say, and I'd love to get your perspective. Even though I was praying 5 times a day, was fasting Ramadan, that was all, I felt like it was outer. I was just performing, but inside, I believe Allah was testing me and my true beliefs. Do I really 100% rely on Him? And during that time, I can't even explain this, but really, Allah's testing this inside, something inside of us that you can pray, but if your heart is not in khushu, if you're not focused, if you're not truly, truly relying on Allah, that's going to come out. And that to me was what came out in the last couple of years. So I feel like I'm going through my own spiritual journey to try to go back to get closer to Allah, of course. And I think all of us want to do that. I think because as an entrepreneur, you have this, maybe you have a lot of followers, maybe you're a content creator, or maybe you have an audience, but there's just so much inner work that we have to do as business owners. And then I also want to talk about the being a woman of color as well, because that's another thing.
Yeah. I mean, from from my own experience and from my coaching practice, that disconnect between being the good Muslim that you were taught to be, to pray and to fast and to, and to do all of the Muslim activities, and then the feeling like it's not deep within myself, like I'm still so scared, I'm still so nervous, I'm still
Yeah.
worried that like Allah's not happy with me. Is Allah mad at me? Is Allah punishing me? Is this pleasing to Allah? Am I supposed to be doing something else? All of these questions, all of these fears, because the way how I approach it is essentially the way many of us in the West, and I'm hearing more and more just around the whole world,
Mhm.
we've been taught Islam is this very fear based way and this also very rule based way. These are the rules. This is halal. This is haram. Do this and you're good. Do this and you're bad. And then sending you off on your way. So you know all the things to do and you know all the things to avoid, but you don't know how to feel. And you don't know actually how to connect with Allah. And you don't know how to discern the guidance, right? Like you're getting guidance, but you don't know how to discern it, you don't know how to trust it, you don't know when to follow it, you're scared, right? Like opportunities come to you and you're like, it doesn't really feel right, but am I then being ungrateful if I say no to this opportunity? Am I just supposed to do it because Allah sent it to me? Blah, blah. And you get into this, and it could be related to business, but it could even be related to, like marriage proposals or this and that. And that doubt that you have around your your relationship with Allah, the shakiness with your relationship with Allah creates shakiness in your life, essentially. So if you feel like you can't dialogue with Allah, can't connect with Allah from a place of real trust, that's the shakiness, right? To be like, okay, Allah, thank you for sending me this opportunity, but actually it's not really what I want. I want something else. And to know solidly that Allah is not petty or judging you or against you, or like, okay, fine, then I'm not going to send you anything else. Like, we personify Allah, like astaghfirullah. We're not supposed to do that, but just our human minds can't comprehend how Allah is, so we make him into a human-like figure, and in a human-like figure we make him petty and angry and jealous, and not jealous, but like um we make him dealing with us in these really kind of harsh and negative toxic ways. That is not how Allah is dealing with us. Allah is there by our side, supporting us, championing us, and wanting us to succeed. And so building that connection with Allah puts makes you more stable, which makes you make more stable decisions that now can compound and move you forward.
Wow, that is so powerful. I think that something else you touched on too was about women from the global south. As a business coach, I have coached many women from different backgrounds, but a lot of the women who I've worked with as my clients have been women of color from the global south, right? What would you say are some barriers that you feel maybe in this population that can be a challenge from a mindset perspective?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, the main thing is to appreciate that white supremacy um, touches everyone all over the world, no matter what. Even if my parents are from Kenya, so even if you're in Kenya surrounded by only Black people, only Africans, you are still affected by white supremacy and its thinking and its beliefs. So the main thing that white supremacy has all of us doing is that it has placed Western ideals, Western thoughts, Western uh, manners of being, Western approaches as the best way, right? And so most of us in business, we are trying to operate or run our business according to these Western standards, right? Hitting revenue goals, have marketing, schedules and uh, whatever plans, even our business plan, our how we measure the success of our business. They are all based on these Western white supremacist ideas. And so also within us, those of us from the global majority are many of us are connected still to our roots, to our cultures, especially if you're Muslim, you're connected to your Islam. And many of these things clash. They don't actually, they contradict or they clash or they don't fully align. And so there's a part of you that's like, it doesn't really like, some of these sales tactics are not really vibing with me. And some of this growth and, having to grow more and more every year doesn't really like, when was it just like, I just want like a stable business that's this much consistently. Wouldn't that be okay? So we have some of these other ideas, but then according to Western values, it's like, no, well then what? Like what are you actually trying to do? Are you really serious about business? Why are you operating it in that way? So it's to understand and to recognize like, where did this idea come from? What is it that I actually want? Where am I striving for? And is it my own desire, or is it a desire imposed on me that is told to me that this is the best, this is the way to do it, this is how you should be doing it? Who am I trying to copy? Who am I trying to mimic? What am I actually trying to grow? Am I trying to grow my own personal wealth and my own prestige, or am I trying to serve the people that I serve with whatever my product or service is, so that it actually enhances their life and there's a mutual exchange of value, and builds community or just fosters goodness, and that's enough, right? Like where is just understanding more of the line, because the white supremacy belief system will always have you second guessing, doubting, and making you feel like you've never done enough.
Wow. That is something to really think about. I mean, I definitely see this a lot for business owners. I was following a lot of business owners who were like hustle. All they do is talk about income claims, how much money they make, and they led with how much money they made as the only thing that defines you and gives you value. Like you're only successful in business if you made a lot of money and you made seven figures. And if you didn't make seven figures, you're not really successful. And I think that's so damaging for people because some people just want to make enough money to travel or, you know, make hijra, right? I just need the money because I want to live in a Muslim country. And, I think as Muslims, we have different goals. Maybe our goals are to just do other things, right? And I think meaningful work is important too. But yeah, what would you say to
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, absolutely, right? Because it's also the combination of white supremacy and capitalism make it that the uh, focus is on money, right? Our current Western modern society, we worship money. We are taught to worship money, right? Only thing that matters is money. If you don't have money, because the way that our society definitely in America and in many other places increasingly, if you don't have money, you cannot live, you cannot survive. And that's not how traditionally it has been, right? Money has been a tool for exchange, but if you didn't have money, you still were on a piece of land, were able to eat from the land, you had community. Like, it didn't mean that, like, that's it, you would perish. But here now in Western society, without money, you will die. So we worship money. Capitalism worships capital. The highest value of capitalism is capital, right? Is some asset, something. And so that is, you know, uh not incompatible, but it's the antithesis of Islam. In Islam, we worship Allah. We do not worship money. We know that Allah is our source. Allah is our provider. Allah is the one who sustains us, who provides for us, who can give to us means from places we could not expect. So when we have this religious values and these religious beliefs that we grew up with, that we know about, but then we're in a system where we will die if we don't have money, right? Like, you could, end up homeless and left on the streets. You are facing this real, like, split mind, right? Like, I know I worship Allah, but if I don't get my money right by either working or making a business, um I feel insecure, right? So we're looking for money, and then those of us who starts businesses, we're looking for our business to provide us that sense of security, right? And there is this myth of, and I really really want to stress this for you and everyone following, the myth of consistent revenue. Right? You need consistent revenue. How can you get consistent, whatever, 6K months? How can you get consistent growth over year after year? And this is a myth because even the big corporations do not have consistent revenue. They are reporting their profits and losses every quarter. Oh, they're down, they're up. So why, if a huge corporation with all sorts of resources cannot have consistently month over month revenue, how is little me just starting out going to make that demand on myself and then drive myself nuts to provide myself that sense of security? This security only comes from Allah. The feeling of being secure, that I am safe, I am protected, I will be provided for, can only come from Allah. Nothing in this dunya can give you that sense of security. It does not matter what you do. It does not matter if you invest in real estate, you're in the stock market, you've got Bitcoin, you have gold, you whatever, you bought land, none of it is secure. A hurricane could come to destroy it, your gold could be devalued, the stock, nothing in this dunya is secure. So it's to operate your business understanding, I'm operating a business because of the human element of it. I have a gift, a service, a product to provide that is useful, helpful, valuable to others. And I feel compelled to do that. I can sense, like, I can't let it go. So that is Allah placing this desire, this idea in your heart for you to give. And your job is simply now to give that and trust the exchange and know that it is not my business that provides for me. It is Allah. And so I keep my worship and my attention to Allah, and I do what I need to do in my business. But now I'm doing it from a more calmer, grounded place, because not all of my attention and desires and hopes and dreams is on this business. Because when it's like that, that's when it feels so overwhelming and so crushing. And every day you're looking at your Stripe account and, oh my God, because everything is hinging on it. When like, okay, I sent out my email campaign, or I launched that thing. I did the best I can. It's a beautiful service product that I have to offer. Inshallah, it's going to support people. I trust that it'll do what it needs to do. And then I go out and I live my life knowing that I'm supported by Allah.
Yes,
That's the difference. Yeah.
that is such a mindset shift, is that checking, that's what I experienced, that checking my Stripe account. Even when I made a good amount of money, I made, 5 figures, right? I would, the next month, okay, what about next month? Because what if I don't make money next month? And it's just like you said, you just have to focus on Allah.
Yes. Yes. It's a different, they sell you like, oh, be your own boss, right? Like, get out of the 9 to 5 and do this. But it's a different form of the rat race.
That is so true. Oh my gosh, you hit the alhamdulillah. You hit that really, really specific. Okay. So I want to talk about this rat race in entrepreneurship. Let's dissect that. That's okay with you. How
Yeah.
what are some things, some practical steps that Muslimas who are trying to grow a business or they have a business, how do they get out of this money rat race? What can we do? Practical steps.
Yes. So the good thing about where we are right now in this moment in history is that capitalism is failing. Capitalism is crumbling. Capitalism is, we're in late stage capitalism. It's literally crumbling by the weight of its own success. It's been so successful at colonizing the world, that now it has, it's reached the extents of its exploitation, that people are finally starting to appreciate, like, this is not the best way to operate, this is not the best way to organize society, this is not the best way of commerce, this is harmful, it's harmful on every level, for the environment, for people, for business, it's harmful. You now have an easier time or more permission than you ever had before to release yourself from the demands of capitalism, because it's capitalism that demands that you start a business in this way and you make this amount of money and you have it in this consistency and all of these things. Now you can kind of let that go. And that letting that go is what gets you out of the rat race, because now you can focus on business and commerce the way, in a more humane way, humane to yourself and humane to everyone that it touches, right? It's so funny because right, people start businesses to, like, I don't want to have a boss and get out of 9 to 5. And then most people, most business owners are meaner to themselves than any boss. They don't let themselves sleep. They don't let themselves take breaks. They don't let themselves go on vacation. They don't let themselves, you know, go out with their friends. Like, no, you have to, we didn't finish this. Da, da, da. Like, if a boss was doing that to you, you would revolt against them. But then you do it to yourself and you think it's freedom. So now you can release yourself of that, and your focus can be, again, on what is it I have to give and share? Who is this going to help? And I'm going to measure my success in any way that you see. You can measure it by how many people I helped, or how much it helped a person, or if they share it with others, or I mean, you can still measure it by revenue, but it can be just more balanced revenue desires instead of like the crazy capitalistic exponential growth hockey stick type desires that we are all fed. And when you do that, it, again, it just calms you down, right? And I hope in the process of you doing this, you're also engaging in community, engaging in more grounding practices, renewing and strengthening your connection with Allah. Again, letting go that my business is my provision. Allah is my provision, and this is something I do. This is something that I have to share. This is something that I feel that Allah, blessed me with, and I want to spread the gift. And that calmness will get you out of the rat race. And so business will look different and the world will look different. As the whole world shifts away from capitalism, we are like, I mean, that's why, homesteading is gaining in popularity, and people, disconnecting, unplugging, all of these things is a result of, like, let's get back to, like, that life can be simple. We can live together. We can eat from the land. We can support one another. We can share with each other. And now, what do economies look like in that way? So I would encourage everyone to just expand your thinking. If you didn't have to think about, right, money for food and shelter, if you didn't have to think about money for food and shelter, if you didn't have to, if you didn't feel the need to escape your life by going on some amazing vacation, if you really felt comfortable and supported in your life because you have great community, great friends, and it's, your life is not dragging you down, so you don't need to escape it. But of course you could travel, but it's not because that's my only 2 weeks of relaxation, because my whole life, is work and drudgery. So if you felt supported, if you didn't need to escape your life, if you didn't feel pressure that your self-worth is determined by, oh, I'm a 5-figure business owner, 6-figure business owner, if it didn't associate with your identity or your value as a person, then what? Then what kind of business would you want to do? How would you want to run it? Then what? right? There's like so many beautiful new ways people are operating things now. Um, and that comes from releasing these ideas.
Yeah, I guess it's about letting go as well, right? And coming to full submission to what God has planned for you. And that's the process of tawakkul. So one of the things I wanted to say, as a Muslima, one of the reasons why I decided to start coaching other Muslim women, I mean, I coach different women of different faiths, right? But I also decided to really create some programs to help specifically with faith, Islam, Islamic values, and business. So, one of the things that I experienced is when I was following a lot of business coaches before who didn't kind of have the same value systems and were very kind of like capitalistic. Everything was just money and money, money, money. Was like when I had to, like during Ramadan, right? You're running a business. I don't know about you, but I have a hard time talking when I'm fasting. Like, and then also I'm tired. You want to make extra ibadah. You want to go do tarawih prayers. Like you're staying up late. You wait. Like your energy is not the same. Some people say they could do a lot of work, but I find that talking to the camera, doing webinars during Ramadan, that just it's not. I'm not able to do it. I don't know about you. So, that's one of the reasons why I decided to start mentoring Muslim women because we have downtimes and then we also pray 5 times a day. So we have those breaks during the day. What would you say is different as a Muslima when we're running our businesses? Sisters who are online, they may see a lot of these people with that type of messaging. What would you say to them to kind of like help them thrive?
Yeah. Um, so what I feel like you're touching on
A lot.
is a lot. And the thing that's coming to my mind to kind of summarize it is that of course we're in the AI bubble now and all of these things, but essentially the modern capitalistic system wants us to be robots, wants us to operate without feeling, without emotion, and be at our optimal state to be productive, right? In capitalism, we are also capital. Human capital is a means of producing something, right? A person who's working in a factory or working in an office, like you are their capital. That's why they're hiring you and employing you. And they want you to be a robot. They don't want you to get sick. They don't want you to have emotions. They don't want you to have family issues coming up. And everything kind of is geared to that. Here's the ideal morning routine. Here's your fitness routine so that you can be a machine. You can wake up, I drink this green smoothie, I did this whatever ice bath and meditation, and then I go and I worked for 5 hours, and then I did this, and then I came back, and da 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 da. And every day I do the same thing. That's sold to us as like what we're striving for, to come up with some ideal routine that we can do day in and day out so that we can be productive in all aspects of our life, right? That's essentially a robot. You are trying to be a robot. And in Islam, Allah's like, letting you be a human. Like, you can be human. You're a human. We're following a lunar cycle. Women, especially, we're on our menstrual cycle. So our hormones and our way of practicing Islam is not consistent. On our cycle, we don't pray. We don't fast, right? So we have this ability to take into consideration the time of year, the time of month, the time of day. It's after Asr, and I woke up and I've been up from Tahajjud since Fajr. So, there was the tradition of taking a nap between Dhuhr and Asr. So taking a nap, right? So it's built into kind of our tradition, our history of Islam, the ebbs and flows of being human and knowing that you being human is not to your detriment. Right now, in modern times, it's seen as a detriment. Oh my God, you got sick. Oh God, you have your period now. You can't do this now. You can't. Oh God, like what am I? I'm not a robot. I'm a real person. Oh, your mom died and you're not going to show it. My mother died. Like, what are you talking about? Right? Like, it makes no sense. We lost the humanity. It's making us lose touch of humanity. So Islam is a very obviously humane religion. And so understanding that you're allowed to be human. You're allowed to have emotions. You're allowed to, feel good and then feel bad. You're a man being high and being low, right? And for Muslims, many Muslims do that with their men. I have to be perfect in man all the time. I pray within the first 5, 10 minutes of the event coming in and da da da. And if I didn't, oh my God. And it's okay to have the ebbs and flows, right? So understanding that, again, reclaiming for yourself that, like, I'm not bad or flawed, that, oh my gosh, I need to take a nap, but I can't take a nap because I need to whatever, make 10 more posts and record 5 reels. Like, it's okay, take the nap. So that element.
Okay, now I actually went through something myself where I was scaling my business, growing. I had a team. Like I was, there was a point where I was making. It was like in 2020, and then to 2024, I experienced while all that was happening, my business was like quadrupling. My brother passed away, and then 4 years, about 3.5 years later, my mother passed away.
Mhm.
And I had to stop. Like, I just, and it's funny because you mentioned this right now. I had to stop what I was doing. I just, you know, and I think for me, it's about rebuilding my business in a way that's aligned. And this comes from everything. I think, especially my mother passing away last year, I was like, okay, I got to live life differently now. I gotta do everything different because that everything I was doing before wasn't working. For me, part of it is actually pivoting my brand to share more about being a Muslim woman in business, and sharing things with my audience that's pretty mixed
Mhm.
crowd of different faith backgrounds, and just sharing more because I didn't share before enough. I mean, I have so many identities. I'm also Hispanic. It's just a lot going on with me. So it's like, I think that's why I kinda got some burnout because I wasn't really creating content that just allowed me to just be me, It was like, "Okay, these are the 5 things you need to do to grow on this platform, and this is how you batch all your content, and this is how you make 6 figures." And after a while, it's like, you can't just keep doing this, So I think for me personally, uh experiencing the loss of my mom, that was a lot, and I was just like, I just can't keep. And so that I guess sometimes you go through these things, and I think what you said is so true about like, we're not robots. And what happens when something goes in your business, something goes on in your personal life, you have to take a break in your business, right? And for me, it just allowed me to reevaluate everything, my life, my business, everything. So, yeah, this is some powerful stuff. I'm learning so much from you, Zahra.
Yeah, I mean, there is so much that, like, we've been taught that's um just harmful, just wrong and harmful, and we just have accepted it um as the truth, as the way things, well, this is the way things are, when it's capitalism, it's white supremacy, it's patriarchy, it's individualism, right? Individualism also gets us because everyone's trying to run their business so individually, but um if you had more, if it was more community based, right? Then also you are supported through different life's challenges. If you can envision, and even for me right now, as I coach on this, I think about this, I'm still struggling. Like, what would it look like? What would my business look like that, like, it didn't fully rely on me, that I knew that it could run on its own, if when my mother passes away,
Mm.
that not everything was going to come to a halt, that I can organize it in some different way. I don't exactly know, but I'm asking myself those questions because that's a totally different way of thinking than um, than how we're taught to think now, especially as a small business owner, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's what, I just wanna, if you don't mind, just jump in because, see, that's what I typically do in my business. I do consult and coach other women how to build life first businesses with systems and processes. And part of what helped me, honestly, when my brother passed away, I made the most money, like, I was making so much money. Like, that was during 2020, right, to 2021. what allowed me to still continue to serve my clients was having a virtual assistant. Like,
Mm.
she was running I had to stop doing everything, so she was like and then I had, another business coach, another co-coach in the coaching program, and I had to stop, and we had someone who was asking for a refund, right? And my VA was the one that was, like, talking to her, and she was like, "No, I wanna talk to Alma," you know, like, I was
Mhm.
like, you know, I had my VA handle this, and I had my assistants, my team, but, like, if you don't set your business up like that, then what happens? It can't run
Exactly.
24/7. You can't be the and this is the one thing that I have been trying to teach women, and I've been teaching this for years, like, this is one of my main things I teach is your business model needs to be set up so that you can deal with the life situations that are going to happen because
Mhm.
this things are going to happen and there's
Mhm.
nothing you can do, you know? So,
That's so great. I'm so glad you do that for women, Alma, because it's so necessary, and especially because women will put so much pressure on themselves to do all the things, even while life is happening. They're like, "No," I was like, "No, set it you can set it up." So I'm glad they have you to go to get that, guidance.
yeah. So I want to ask you another thing that a lot of women in my community, in our community, um, they struggle with is being visible to promote their brand. And this is really more for especially like sisters who want to be like, you know, coaching or doing consulting work. So how do you help sisters navigate that, the confidence to show up? Because I could tell you, since I've been kind of pivoting to the Muslimah market, a lot of my confidence has gone down. Like, it's just a lot of horrible self-talk, you know?
Yes,
So
yes.
I'm just being transparent, like, you know, I've gone through that too.
And so the set shift I walk my clients through around visibility is that, um, we will be more insecure and more, um, concerned with how we look, how we're being perceived, how our speech pattern am I making sense? Is it clear? We'll be so, concerned with all of that when the attention is on ourselves, right? So like I am this business owner and I have to tell people about, whatever it is that I sell these balloons and I need to explain it to people and share it with them and tell them about them and do it in the best way. And oh my gosh, am I explaining it right? Am I telling the material? Did I teach them how to inflate it? All of these things we get super concerned with ourselves and our perception. It will always make us shrink and feel insecure and not really want to be visible because, like, I don't know. And other people are selling balloons, they're selling it better. I don't know what I'm doing. But if we flip it and we think about the customer that we're serving, and we think about them, and that let's say that this is for a busy mom who needs to plan a last minute birthday party. These balloons are self-inflating and biodegradable, so they they disappear by themselves. So now if I think about that person, then like I can focus my attention on her. What does she's busy. She's overwhelmed. She doesn't want to have a lot of plastic or junk in her house. And she doesn't have a pump, or it hurts her throat to blow up balloons a lot. So now I'm like, okay, for this woman, let me explain it to about, and let me think about her and let me do that. And when your mind then is in her brain, you're now not in your own brain. And it's easier for you to say whatever you need to say and share whatever you need to share because you're now concerned about letting her know. She needs to know about this, so she needs to know that this is an option. This person is waiting to hear that I have a solution to the thing that she's been needing. So I have to talk about it so that that woman can find it. And that's what's always going to help, is to think about whoever you're serving. So if we're both coaches, if I think about the woman who is struggling in business, who wants to start it or has already started it, it grew and maybe it's getting stale or stagnant, or she had a life issue come up and now she's like struggling and oh my God, should I close it? What should I do? And that woman is drowning in the fears and the doubt and the negative self-talk. What do I need to tell her? What does she need to hear so that she can get up again and so that she can keep going, that she won't beat herself up? And if you can kind of feel for yourself, if you're imagining, it's so much easier to talk when you're like, oh, let me help you about da da da. And you don't really care. Did I say it right? Did I say it wrong? How do I look? Da da da. You're just like, no, I can help you. This is the thing. Let me explain it, blah, blah, blah. As opposed to if you're thinking about, okay, I want to present myself as a very good salesperson. And how do I now tell people about my premier coaching service that does blah, blah? Then you're like all in your head. And where do I put my hands? I don't know. So it all becomes awkward.
Do you do one-on-one coaching?
I do.
Well, we'll be talking after this, inshallah.
Inshallah. Yeah, I have group coaching program probably similar to yours, and I do one-on-one coaching, and then I have recorded courses that people can take. So like my introductory foundational course is called Friction to Flow, to get you out of the friction of feeling like everything's a struggle, everything's hard, and to be flowing more, like creating a greater connection with Allah so you can have that ease and flow, um, that not everything is on your head. I've, you know, all that attention on my business and on me doing it right. You allow yourself to flow.
This is amazing. Okay, so you have group coaching courses, self-study, and you have a year-long program where you help. Tell us about that program. And I believe your brand is practical, is under the Practical Muslim brand. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. So my business is called Practical Muslim, and my flagship coaching program is called Limitless Life. And in Limitless Life, we spend a year together, and it's actually my husband and I co-coaching our clients. And we have a weekly group coaching call where we are working on your identity. So getting really clear on who you are, what you have to share, and why it's important to you, right? Like your personal why, your confidence. So feeling confident in your own self and in your own capacity, and also feeling very confident that you have Allah's support, Allah's guidance, that Allah is on your side as your cheerleader. And then third is on that visibility piece, that you feel comfortable and secure sharing with others, getting help from others, setting boundaries with others, all of these things that allow you to really be seen and heard by others in a way that feels good to you. And so we have a curriculum that we spend the first 3 months walking you through the curriculum to shift in those three areas. And then throughout the rest of the year, the rest of the 9 months, we are implementing it with you in real time in your business, in your life, with your parents, with your family. You know, childhood issues will come up. We're not therapists, but we coach through all the different things that are creating the barriers to you connecting with that.
I love that. Thank you so much, Zahra. Again, we'll try to put the links right below this video so you can connect with Zahra. And again, any last things you want to share or?
No, I thought this was an amazing conversation. Thank you so much for having me, Alma. So excited to be connected with you.
Alhamdulillah. All right. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.